everyone. Welcome back to the Boundless podcast. It's great to see everyone who's listening again. Well, not physically see, but see you back. We have Quirkless Cosplay with us today. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Doing well. It's good to finally see you. And so, just for everybody, just go ahead and shout out your Instagram name.
All right, I am Quirkless Cosplay, Quirkless Cosplay, all one word.
Got it. That should be easy enough to find. There's no Z's or L's or any. Well, there are L's, but not too many.
Spelled correctly.
Yeah, spelled correctly. So, where are you based out of?
I'm in Atlanta.
How is that? I mean, I know the Atlanta scene is crazy because you guys have Dragon Con there and MomoCon and AWA.
Oh man, it's a beautiful place. It's gorgeous here. I'm not originally from Atlanta, but moving here and being here has been awesome. The cosplay scene is insane. There's so many good cons to go to. So many cool cosplayers are from out here. So it's quite a community. I definitely enjoy it.
That's awesome. Where are you from originally?
I'm from California.
Oh man, so you just came from one large convention area to the next.
Yeah, I'm a SoCal girl.
What brought? Oh, go ahead. What brought you here from the West Coast?
My husband actually. We met and everything kind of just clicked and came together. And I was like, you know what? I've never been to the South. I've actually not been out of California too much. So why not try kind of like a change of pace and move out here?
And then boom, all of a sudden you were in the kind of deep South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different.
It is. I mean, it's not like Alabama or anything like that, but it's yeah.
Thank God. No offense to any Alabamans. I'm sorry.
No offense at all, but yeah, it's just slightly different from that type of South.
Yeah. So. Atlanta is a modge podge of people and communities, so it's nice to be this close to the city and have like different aspects to look at and different places to go. It's gorgeous and really cool.
It really is, yeah. Every time I come down there, I love it, and there's awesome cosplayers there. And like I said, I'm just now meeting you, so that's another one I can add to the list.
Yes.
So,
I like being on lists.
Lists are usually good unless it's like the IRS or something like that.
Well, never mind then.
So how would you say the Atlanta cosplay scene compares to the what's it called, California cosplay scene?
Ooh, well, it's different. The conventions in like SoCal feel bigger, I guess. In a way, like, I don't know. They're bigger. Like Anime Expo is. If you've never been, it's really hard to explain it. It's huge. It's anime. It's big and bright and hot. It's amazing. We have SDCC out there. We have BlizzCon out there. There's so many, and then you come here, and it feels more like a tight-knit community a little bit. The same cosplayers from different southern states kind of come out here for MomoCon, AWA, Dragon Con. We all kind of just come together, and it feels more like a big-ass family, I guess.
More so than it is just out there. Like, I guess over there it's just a group of cosplayers that, a very large group just coming together compared to here is everyone knows everyone a lot more personally.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit smaller because everybody kind of we all came up doing it kind of in the time when cosplay became like big. So everybody who came together and we met, we all just kind of we see each other at cons and we're like, hi, how are you? It's kind of more, it feels more personal.
Yeah.
LA it's beautiful, it's amazing. It's just it's a lot. There's a lot there. There's like more everything. There's more of everything.
Okay. And so for everyone also not able to see her at the moment, she's wearing an awesome Carl/Nappa mashup shirt from what's it called, Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Dragon Ball Z. And who made your shirt again?
Pixel Moth Apparel.
Pixel Moss Apparel. Check him out
Yes.
on Instagram.
Please
It is
check
an
him out
awesome
on
shirt.
Instagram. He has some awesome, awesome shirts on there, and he's a great guy.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm definitely going to pick myself one up because I just love the whole concept, everything Aqua Teen Hunger Force and everything Dragon Ball Z. So the
I
combine,
know, right?
yes, it's
Great.
perfect.
Yeah, he'll love that. Thank you so much.
Of course. So let's just go ahead and dive into today's topic, which is armor building slash cosplay building, whatever have you. For everyone who doesn't know, well, you can go ahead and tell them because you know a lot better than I do since you made it. What cosplays have you made so far?
Ooh, armor builds right now. My first one here in Atlanta was Guts from Berserk.
Hmm.
I've also done a Night Elf Hunter. Recently, I did a build of Cordana Fellsong from World of Warcraft.
Hmm.
I really love armor builds. It's so much fun. It's so challenging. There's so much that goes into it. I've also done an armored dragon. It was based off of Zach Fisher's art. He's
Hmm.
an amazing illustrator.
Hmm.
His
Hmm.
cosplay designs are just so in depth. There's so much love and time that he puts into them. His designs are amazing to do. Which, by
Hmm.
the way, I am bringing one of his designs to Dragon Con this year.
Oh, what is it? Or is it a secret?
It's
It's a secret. Okay, okay. So we'll definitely have to find you at Dragon Con to see whatever this
yes.
amazing cosplay is going to be.
Saturday, I will be dressed up. I'm doing the Project Ebon Blade group, so we should be out there in force. There should be at the least, 50 of us dressed up in his designs,
Hmm.
hanging out, and it's gonna be awesome.
Very nice. Well, I'll definitely have to make sure I get a picture of all this because I will be there also. So,
Yay!
perfect. So, let's just say we're brand new to the cosplay scene and we're like, man, I just saw this awesome Monster Hunter armor or World of Warcraft armor or whatever have you from any game or anime ever created, and I want to make it. Where do I start? Do I just go to Joann's and buy? What do I do?
Oh wow. Well, for if the first thing you need to know is like what materials you want to work with. You have two options. You have a foam. Well, I guess you know have more than two. You have foam, and then you have thermoplastics.
Hmm.
Thermoplastics are, for example, Warbler, Wonderflex, Vibra, and they're available in different places from different like cosplay supply stores. I get my foam from TNT Cosplay Supply,
Hmm.
and if I don't send like an order to them, then I go to Hobby Lobby has a lot of 5 millimeter foam. Yeah, and then I order my Wonderflex and Warbler from the Engineer guys, and they're here in Atlanta, a little bit further from where I live, but the drive is worth it. And those are two places that you could just go. Hobby Lobbies are anywhere. Michaels also carries foam too, but of course they're going to be in like the little sheets.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it really depends on what you're doing and how much foam you need.
Okay.
So,
So, talk to me about price differences between the two groups and why I would select one group over the other.
hmm. If you're going to get, say, sheets of foam from, say, Hobby Lobby, they're probably going to run you about 125 to maybe a buck to a buck 25, a
Hmm.
buck 29, I'm sorry, for each sheet of foam.
Hmm.
And while they're helpful for like small details and stuff like that, I've built whole breastplates out of the sheets of foam. But if you want something like a roll, a whole roll of foam in a different millimeter or size, like 3 or 2, even 1, or you want 10, or you want something super dense, I would go with TNT Cosplay Supply or another supplier like I think Polyprops. Um, there are a few other ones that are online, and Polyprops, Lumen Shop has foam, Cosplay Supply also has foam. These are places that like you have to order them from online. You can order from Amazon, but God bless, you never know what you're gonna get. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say I do decide to go, well, no, let's say I don't decide to go with the EVA foam and I want to go with Warbler or the thermoplastics. What
Mhm.
type of, creation am I going to be doing? what's the workload for that compared to the workload with EVA? Because I know most people use EVA.
It's cheaper and it's easier to get your hands on.
Hmm.
For a lot of beginning cosplayers and a lot of like OG cosplayers, it's a material that you can literally make into anything that you want. It's easily primable. It's great for paint, and the most important part is that it's flexible.
Hmm.
If you've never worn a Warbler bodice or like breastplate,
Hmm.
then you don't know the difference between like wearing foam, which moves with you. You can like deep breaths are good, breathing is good. Um, versus like a Warbler or Wonderflex or a Thybra breastplate, which is tighter. It's once it sets up, it's hard. It
Hmm. Hmm.
that shape, it's amazing like that. It's an amazing product. But
Hmm.
if you want something easier to move around in, or
Hmm.
something that needs to travel where it can be compressed a little bit,
Hmm.
foam may be better.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, what type of armor builds would require foam, whereas what type of armor builds could you see yourself using thermoplastics for?
For example, I use thermoplastics for my entire guts armor, the wolf armor, except for the helmet.
Hmm.
It's sturdy. Oh my
Hmm.
God, it's super sturdy. He has taken so much abuse. I've taken him so many places and thrown him so everywhere. Especially when
Hmm.
you take him off, you're just like, and I got like flying breastplates. Um, he's gone a lot of places with me. He's still hanging out, just solid.
Hmm. Okay. So,
Versus
go ahead.
something that I've built out of complete foam would probably be the newest armor I did, the Cordana Felsong from World of Warcraft.
Hmm.
She's entirely built out of foam. Super duper comfortable to wear. So
Hmm.
comfortable, so light. That's another thing. When you start building up with thermoplastics, those guys get heavy. Like,
Hmm.
yes, it's heavy. It's heavy.
Hmm.
It's hard and it's heavy, but if you really need it to stand up to the test of time and just be just something that's solid and ready to be abused or thrown into like a big old container for traveling,
Hmm.
they both have their positives and their negatives, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're looking for durability, go with the thermoplastics, and if you're looking for comfort and I don't know, breathingness, if that's even a word, breathability, go with the EVA foam.
It's also pretty sturdy. It's a material that you can literally do anything with. Same with the thermoplastic, but like I said, it's going to be harder. Some people have harder times getting just access to it at all. It's more expensive for sure. So that I guess that would be part of what people would be considering when they're making something. Like if you can make it all out of foam, something that's readily available that you can go and pick up and experiment with, and if you mess up, it's not as expensive as
Hmm.
messing up with Warbler. And then you,
Hmm.
ah,
Yep.
what do I do? I just spent $80 on this thing. Ah, especially if you don't really know what you're doing. It's kind of a learning experience, and you need a little bit more flexibility so you don't like beat yourself up about messing something up.
More of a steep learning curve.
Yeah, it is. I think that I had a good time with it. I actually really still love the material and I use it for a lot of different things. It's just foam is so much more fun for me.
Hmm.
I think that I would prefer to build my armor out of it
Okay.
instead of Warbler and Wonderflex having used both.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And it's so nice to have a person who's actually had a first-hand experience with both, because a lot of people will just give you their opinion, but have never actually used one or the other. And it's like, well, I heard so and so say. No, it's nice when, we're going directly to a source. So perfect. And kind of taking a small detour from those two, what
Mhm.
have you worked with, or what is your outlook on 3D printing cosplays? Because that seems to be kind of popular now.
Oh man, 3D printing is so cool. It is. It brings like a whole new level of craftsmanship to whatever you're doing, those details that you cannot get yourself, or you spend days and hours crafting a button with a skull in the center, and you're just like, I can't do it
Mm-hmm.
anymore. 3D printing kind of covers that, the edge of craftsmanship where you can get so close. And if, especially if you're somebody who's a perfectionist,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's building that cosplay for complete and utter accuracy, like you want to look just like that character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
3D printing really provides you with the ability to get there a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even say a little bit, I'd say a lot. I'd say a lot quicker. It's just so versatile, and a lot of people frown on it because they're like, oh, you're not making it yourself. But these people spend hours learning, or even longer, like days, learning this program to be able to bring something off of a computer screen to life. It's an amazing process. I have a 3D printer. I have used it for gems and stuff like that. I don't know how to use the actual program, so I can't like make a 3D skull myself. Like, yeah, I don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I completely and utterly respect people who do it. People who use it, they are magicians.
That's awesome.
You are magic, and it's so cool. It's really cool. I personally think it's awesome.
Okay.
I know there's people who beat people up for using it, but it's like when Wonderflex and Warbler came out, it was like, well, you're cheating doing it. That's your personal opinion. Don't use it if you don't like it. It's really that easy.
Okay. And which 3D printer do you have?
Well, it's nothing cool. It's nothing awesome. I found it on Amazon, and I just kind of had my husband put it together, and he's been playing with it. It's like his toy thing, and I'm like, babe, I need this, and he makes it.
Hey, power couple.
He's got the power with the 3D printer. Thingiverse is a really good resource. MakerBot also, if you're looking for.
Yes, I know both. They're very good resources.
Very good resources for 3D printing files that people have already made. So, yeah, you can also buy them. I believe there's some people who sell them on like Etsy and stuff. And that's for specific stuff. Like if you need series blade or like her dagger or a medallion or something, you can get that off of there too.
Yeah, because honestly, I've always wanted to 3D print the Thresh build from League of Legends. Oh my gosh, I've wanted to wear that outfit so bad because I mean, I have dreads and he doesn't have really dreads, but they kind of look like dreads, whatever that hair ghost thing he has going on is. Yeah.
Tentacles, yeah.
Yeah, tentacles. So yeah, I thought that would be really cool. So that's one thing I would maybe like to try. But anyways, coming back to okay, so now we've selected our what's it called? We've selected our material and we know what we're going to go with. And so now what is the next step? What do we need to do to take said item and turn it into, shaping it to our body?
Ooh. Well, patterns. Cosplayer nightmare. Cosplay nightmare. Patterning is really the most important thing. Patterning is gonna get you where you need to go. That's your bread and butter.
So for all of our newcomers, what is patterning?
It's where you take measurements of yourself, essentially, and then put it onto your material and use that to make your armor. For example, easiest method that I was taught by Kenpatsu Cosplay when I first researched how to make a cosplay well. When I say make a cosplay well, I mean I did do it before, but it was it was an adventure. She taught me how to make body patterns from saran wrap and masking tape
Hmm.
or duct tape.
Okay.
So
So.
essentially, you would wrap your body piece or part. I don't say piece. That means you like it's cut off or something. You'd wrap your body in saran wrap, and then wrap it in loosely, like so it's not super duper tight on you, in masking tape or duct tape.
Hmm.
That gives you an exact replica of, say, like your wrist or your arm or your leg, or for a bodice top for your body here around. It's pretty perfect for that. So it gives you your exact measurements without like just measuring yourself with tape,
Hmm.
with a measuring tape.
Hmm.
So you're able to use that pattern, draw on the shape that you're looking for, cut it off very carefully, don't cut yourself, happens, and put it onto foam and then trace it. So it gives you that exact size of your wrist, of your leg, of your bodice.
Hmm.
So it's pretty
Hmm.
cool.
Got it. Okay. All right. So yeah, I have heard of that method before, and no one has explained it in as much detail as you. So thank you very much for that.
I
Perfect.
hope they understood that. I feel like that was a super crappy explanation. Hey, tape it, cut it off, guy. Good job.
Hey, disclaimer, if anyone cuts themselves, we are not responsible for it. That is on you.
And I told you to be careful.
Yes.
You should have listened.
All
Or
right.
have somebody cut it off for you, especially for something that you're trying to do, a back seam or something like that. Have a friend cut it off of you. Wait till your roommate gets home and have them do it for you, or your parent.
Yeah. Even better, somebody who's hopefully not vengeful towards you or does not have a grudge against you. So,
Yes,
yeah.
because cosplay involves a lot of sharp objects, so you're gonna need to keep them out of your cosplay room,
You're right. You're
perhaps.
right. Okay, so now we've selected our material, we've patterned ourselves, we've got our items cut out. Now, how do we say start, you know, I guess what the word is, leveling it? I'm not sure what the exact word is, but, making things the correct thickness and then putting in the details.
Well, for foam, when after you've cut a pattern of your arm, say we're gonna use a bracer, you've taped your wrist, you know what size your wrist is. For foam, depending on the thickness of it, you need to make the pattern a little bit bigger. And I'm
Hmm.
not talking like a shit ton bigger, just a kind of like if you're using a sewing pattern where you have to have a seam allowance.
Hmm.
It's the same idea.
Hmm.
You want to have just a little bit around your pattern to give you space for the extra millimeters that the foam is. Like if you're using 1 millimeter, you'd probably be fine. 2 millimeter, you'd be fine. Once you get to three, it needs to be just a little bit bigger. Five, a little bit bigger. Like you just need to make sure you allow yourself some space with your pattern.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when you make it, it's not too small and too tight. You don't want it to be too tight.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's a tip that I wish that I had known for a couple previous builds where I've just built something and I'm like, oh god, it's too small. So that's my advice there. Leave yourself
Okay,
some room to work. If
gotcha.
you make it too big or a little bit bigger, you can always make it smaller.
Okay. Yep, that's
Bigger's better to make it smaller.
bigger is better to make it smaller. I think that needs to go on a t-shirt.
like I'm a monk of cosplay, so
Yes, a guru.
spouting my wisdom.
Okay, so now we've selected our thickness and we've started to, I guess, etch in our details using, our scalpel, I mean, not scalpel, X-Acto knife and using, you know, s-
Many people who have them, right?
yeah, yeah, all one of the same scalpel, X-Acto knife, not too much different from each other. And so let's say now we want to start a painting. Which paints do we buy? Are they water-based paints? Or are they acrylic?
Yes,
What do
it's
we get?
many steps.
Oh, let's go
To
back then. Take
painting.
me back.
You have to go back. Let's go back to detailing.
Go back to the beginning.
After you've made your pattern and you put it together, you're the same pattern that you use for your arm say your wrist guard. You can use that same pattern to make the details for your armor also.
Okay.
You can also use the freshly cut piece of foam that you made for your wrists. You put a little bit of tape on it. Say if you want to make trim around your bracer, put tape onto it, draw the pattern off, cut the tape off, and then you have a perfectly sized pattern for your detailing. That also works with pretty much any piece of armor. Yeah, once you get the base cut out and built, you can just tape it again. Same idea. Tape it again and cut out the pattern. Be careful not to cut your foam. Or, well, yeah, it'd be foam first, because even with Wonderflex, you don't usually just, or Warbler, I'm sorry, you don't usually just use that product by itself to make something. With Warbler, most cosplayers, people who use it, put foam in between it. They use the sandwich method or the edging method, where you heat it up, put the foam on it, and cover the edges, like pull the Wonderflex or Warbler over the edge to make instead of wasting materials on making a sandwich. I don't know if that makes sense.
Sort of, I think.
Okay, so sandwiching is, say you have your piece of foam, it's your bracer. When you use Wonderflex or Warbler, you need to heat it up, press the foam onto it, and then most people use a sandwich method, which is to heat up another piece in the proper size and put it on top. So it's like your foam is fully encased in the thermoplastic. You cut the edges off, heat it up again to shape it, and then it'll stay. Once it gets cold, it'll stay that exact shape.
Okay.
It'll never move.
Okay.
So sorry, that's the sandwiching method. Folding over the edges is almost exactly like the sandwiching method, where you heat up the Wonderflex or Warbler, put the foam on top to it, and then fold the edges, so you're not wasting as much product, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So, with regards to the color, are you always using the black EVA foam I see and then spray painting, or do you already pre-select the color and then do it?
You can. Honestly, once you get the foam color doesn't quite matter, and unless you're not really gonna prime it and then paint it, because when you prime it, it's gonna be whatever color your primer is all the time. So you don't really have to worry about the color unless you're using like a clear primer. A lot of people use Mod Podge and wood glue and stuff like that, both of which aren't super flexible. So I use them on weapons mostly. I think that's not going to need to bend a lot. Those, it might matter what the foam color is underneath, but for me, for the most part, when I use foam, I use Plastidip. It's black. Spray that baby. It's black. So that's my base. I don't really have to worry about the color of the actual foam. For the most part, you don't either. If they don't have any 5mm in black, buy it in brown. If that makes you feel better, buy it in red, orange, pink. That's
okay.
fine.
Perfect. All right. So, where are we now, basically? So, we've done the pattern.
You've done your trim, and you've got your detail on. I guess now you can put your attachments on, or you can wait till after you're done painting. Priming would be best, depending on the material you're using. If you need flexibility, if you don't. Like I said, if you don't need flexibility, something like Mod Podge, wood glue would be awesome, especially for a weapon. Like wood glue, you can sand. It's amazing. You need that like smooth sword, that beautiful, just clean edge. You can actually sand it until you're happy with the finish on it. There's a couple other products I've actually been using that I didn't know were out there. God, I'm so mad about it. All these years
wasted.
Paid myself so much effort. Mainly for flexibility, Plastidip is awesome. It's cheap.
Say that one more time. Plastidip.
Plastidip.
Yeah. Okay.
like what people use on their cars. Like it's a flexible rubber coating that you can peel off
Okay.
if you need to.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, I found it for my cosplays that it doesn't peel off. I don't use so many layers of it that it's that thick that I can just pull it off. I usually use about two.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
My favorite thing right now, actually, I know you can't see this, guys, but flexi paint.
Flexi paint. It's I can pretty much describe it. It's a black bottle with flaming kind of text that are transitioning from yellow to blue, and it's just a white bottle with it says Flexi paint on it. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or eBay, wherever have you.
Yes, there are flexi paint actually has its own website. It's very similar to the other flexible cosplay paints that are out there now.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, having used this one, I love it. I've
Mhm.
used a couple of the others too, and they're
Mhm.
all really cool. They're
Mhm.
all really great for their own thing. And like I said, sandable um, would be I don't know how to explain it. There's a girl on Instagram who's used the method where you wet sand
Mhm.
or like use your fingers with some water and like rub these materials like this. It's like gluish when you actually put it on there.
Mhm.
And it gets like the smoothest surface ever. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm all for smooth surfaces, so
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
especially when we work so hard on something. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you can buff out that surface until it's exceedingly smooth, and just once you put that primer on it, you're like, whew.
Hmm.
Uh, these are actually primers also. So instead of using Plastidip if I didn't have any, or if I was doing something small, I would use this. You can also put it through an airbrush gun, which is very, very convenient too. You just have to thin it out a little bit.
Okay.
That's for base. Those are for bases. There are several different things you can paint it with. Um, ooh, fillers.
Mhm.
Super, super important, especially if you're new to cosplay when you don't
Yes.
get
Tell
your
me about
seams.
fillers.
Yes, if you don't get your seams matching where there's a gap somewhere or you accidentally ding it with your Dremel and you're just like, oh, what do I do? There are a lot of options out there.
Mhm.
My favorite right now is foam clay. No, it sounds
Never heard
weird.
of it. Yep. Never heard of it.
Whoa, that stuff is so cool. Essentially, it's foam uh, and clay, but not
Mhm.
clay. I believe that they just put the clay in there because it's moldable like clay.
Mhm.
You can literally push it into a mold, like an ice cube mold,
Mhm.
let it dry, and pull it out, and it's that exact thing. It's beautiful.
Wow. Huh.
Yes, it also works as a filler. Like you can put it into your on foam, put it into whatever dent or thing that you messed up, wet your
Mhm.
finger, rub it over there till it's smooth,
Mhm.
gone.
Boom. Good to
That's
go.
gone. It is awesome for filling seams when you don't match them correctly. After you sand it down smooth, of course, but oh, this stuff is beautiful. But there are other things that people have used. Quick seal. Hmm. There's a couple others, but for right now, I've used quick seal. I've used foam clay. I like both of them for different reasons.
Mhm.
And foam clay is my favorite right now, just because it's
Okay.
it's so fun. It doesn't take a lot to use it. It just kind of takes some dangling, learning how to do it a little bit, and kind of gauging how much of the product that you need. It
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
not cheap, but it's not expensive.
Okay. Okay. Somewhere in between, like a
Yes,
medium.
it's a mid-range product. Yeah, TNT Cosplay Supply carries it. Lumen Shop carries it also. I believe I want to say Polyprops has it too.
TNT Constance.
Mm, Polyprops right now, if you're looking for cosplay materials, they are out just knocking stuff out of the park right now
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
flexibility wise,
Mhm.
it's so important because like you wear your armor and you move all day, it's gonna crack or something's gonna happen to it eventually.
Mhm. Mhm.
But they've got both seals and like top coats, which is something that a lot of cosplayers don't put on their armor sometimes. They use
Mhm.
varnish or something
Mhm.
because it cracks eventually. But they got some cool products that don't crack.
Okay. And this is TNT cosplay or
No, this is
um, it's called Clear
Polyprops.
Polyprops. Ah,
Poly
Polyprops.
Polyprops,
I'm
yes.
going to their site now to check them out. Polyprops. You
Let's
guys
see.
listening should do the same.
Yes. They
Polyprops.
have a clear coat that's flexible that you can, after you've done you painted your entire armor, it's beautiful, you love it, you don't want anything bad to happen to it. You would cover with it. Oh, I guess back to paint.
Mhm.
After you primed your armor, foam needs to be heat sealed before you prime it, guys. If you
Mhm.
don't, you will be frustrated. I guess that's one word for it. It Yeah, foam will literally suck up all of the paint that you put onto it if you don't heat seal it first.
Hmm.
And heat sealing is usually done with a heat gun. You can get them for super cheap on Amazon, $15,
Mhm.
and they will save your life.
So that brings me.
Especially, yeah, like literally, people are like, can I use a hairdresser, hair blower? Please, please don't.
Just get a heat gun, spend the
It's
12, $15.
it's the same price. Please, please get an actual heat gun
Mhm.
because your life will
Mhm.
be much easier.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that brings me
Don't.
to another question. How much can I expect to pay for my first cosplay build? I know it varies depending on what I'm building and the size and how big I am, but let's just say on average, let's say you're, I don't know, 5'5", average American, making a I don't know,
Really so
something kind
short.
of simple like I don't know, just a simple armor.
Are you thinking to make like a full set of armor, like with
Yeah.
your arms, your
Yeah.
legs,
Let's
shoulders?
just knock it all out. We're going chest, legs, back, arms, helmet.
Ooh. For sheets of foam, say for me, I would use TNT Cosplay Supply and get a bunch of them from Hobby Lobby. I probably buy at least 15 sheets of foam just from Hobby Lobby, and then a roll or two of foam for TNT. 10, 15. Ooh. The rolls on TNT Cosplay Supply aren't super expensive. Their foam
Hmm.
is really high quality, and you'll definitely notice the difference. So I would definitely go with that if that's what you're gonna do.
Hmm.
Oh,
So
let's
so how much are we
prime
talking?
foam. Ooh, paint. Ooh, let's see. I would say at least for a full body outfit, $125.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And that's like, you know what you're doing. You're not going to mess up.
Hmm. How about for, the people that need the two or three uh-ohs?
I would just say like buy some extra sheets of foam, not the rolls of foam. Buy a couple extra sheets of foam in the same millimeter that you want to use that
Hmm.
are cheaper, like the Hobby Lobby ones. That'll give you a little bit of breathing room. And before you start something, try, learn, watch. Try it yourself so you get a feel for the material.
Hmm. Hmm.
Learn from that experience, and then watch experienced cosplayers on YouTube or their Instagrams build stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's so much easier, and you'll make less mistakes watching someone use a material that you've never used before
Hmm.
or doing
Hmm.
something that you've never done before.
Okay.
But as always, like learning experience, you will learn doing it yourself, and the more you do it, the more you'll learn. And there are a lot of different methods to cosplay, from
Hmm.
expensive as hell to cheap. You can do like whatever you want, honestly, like material wise. If you're making something out of cloth and you don't want to go to Joann's and spend $1 million, go to Walmart. They
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
comparably good fabric. It'll still give you what you're looking for, or who cares? Buy
Mhm. Mhm.
it. You're really you're just doing this for the joy of cosplaying. So
Mhm.
there shouldn't be any judgment on it. I've built cosplays. I've bought fabric at Walmart, Joann's, on sale at somebody's house. Like, like I feel like when I first started, I didn't have a lot of expendable income,
Yeah.
and I had to really just find every way
Mhm.
to make it work for myself.
Yeah.
I did a lot
Yeah.
of goodwill shopping for like
Mhm.
fur
Mhm.
coats. Like, I need
Yeah.
fur, but I don't want to buy that for $35 a yard. So ripping this entire jacket apart, like
Yep. That's I was just talking about that in my last article about how to cosplay, you don't have to necessarily be forking out hundreds or thousands of dollars. You can frugally do it and still get some extremely good results. And it's
oh
just a
yeah,
matter,
definitely
yeah.
can.
Hmm.
I think the queen of like cheap, awesome, amazing cosplays is Alice and Tabitha.
Alice and Tabitha, is that their Instagram name or how do I find
Yes.
them?
Yes. If anybody's listening to this and you haven't heard of her, please look her up. She has a YouTube channel that shows you affordable ways to get the same results as, say, famous cosplayers. Or I mean, she herself is a famous cosplayer, but she's been using these methods since she started, and they're frugal and they're awesome and they work. And
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
don't have to spend $1 million to make something. And she definitely proves it, because the stuff that she makes and the stuff that she wears and her techniques are all so tailored towards being able to do it on a budget. Don't stress
Hmm.
yourself out about what you can afford.
Hmm.
And of
Hmm.
course, having fun. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
people miss that part.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So cool. So I think we've, touched a good bit on how to break into making your own first cosplay. So yeah, we definitely have some good information there. So I kind of just wanted to, for the last, 15 minutes or so, spend some time talking about the actual cosplay world now.
Okay.
So starting off with, let's see, if you are new to the cosplay scene and you don't know what to cosplay as, should you just go with what you find interesting, or should you just go with what's, popular? What should you do?
Do what you love.
Hmm. Hmm.
Pick a character that you love, that you like, and the effort and the experience that you'll have from wearing it will, it's not for the world necessarily.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's for you. It's
Hmm.
so you can build something awesome and amazing, be proud of yourself, feel cool, look cool, and go out into the world and show off your handiwork. Honestly,
Exactly. Exactly. I
I don't
completely
think
agree.
you need to pick something popular to
Hmm.
do. Just do whatever you like. That's what I did. My
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what I've always done. I don't pick the most popular cosplays, or the anime that's like in, like I see what I watch and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be that guy or girl.
Sounds awesome. I definitely think that's a good plan because, right now there's a, oh, well, not even right now and always, the cosplay world can be kind of ruthless, let's just say. And, there's this whole body shaming thing and even, I guess, race shaming. And, I feel sometimes I talk to people, and especially being a photographer, some people I've met are like, oh, I don't want my picture taken. I don't want people to see me. I don't want, people to say, oh, this part of my costume wasn't correct, or oh, you're not skinny enough, or even you're not big enough for that character.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
don't understand it.
Hmm.
Bunch of dick ass trolls telling people that they can't do what they want to do.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
a hobby. And some people turn it into a career. This is supposed to be fun. This is about expressing yourself, loving these characters. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people are so focused on tearing people down for doing something that they love to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, you don't have to be canon. I am here for that girl who looks exactly like that character, wearing that exact outfit, looking like a fucking queen. I am here for that. But I'm
Mhm.
also here for the guy or the girl who spent hours in their house trying to make that exact same outfit, who
Mhm.
loves that
Mhm.
character and wants to wear it out of their house. Like, I don't
Mhm.
see any shame in it. There's People are just so mean.
They are. People are very mean. I've just noticed, I mean, in general, humans are mean. And I don't know, I kind of feel, I can't say for sure, but I've been to a lot of countries. And I have to admit, Americans are pretty rough. But it's just, yeah, I mean, I've been to Japan, I've been to France, I've been to the Philippines. And when it comes to judging, whoo, Americans are definitely taking the belt.
The
So,
anonymity of the internet has made it so people can say all these cruel, ruthless things with no repercussions at all.
yep, yep,
You don't have to treat somebody like a human being because you can't actually see them.
yeah,
You've never
yeah.
met them. They're not
Hmm.
around you. You don't have to be nice. There are no manners. Like, it makes no sense.
Hmm.
It makes me, ugh, yeah,
Yeah,
it makes
yeah.
me really, really angry to see people
Just
not,
knocking down others.
yeah, just not being happy in their costumes, or like feeling bad about taking a photo, or just, it's insane. Like,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
just makes me want to choke the shit out of. If I could force choke people who are being mean to people on the internet just for wearing something awesome, or even, that they built and they didn't build, they bought, or they're a lewd cosplayer, or they're black, or they're too fat, they're too skinny, you're not a boy. Like, okay. First of all, I'd like to say this to everyone: these characters are not real.
This is true. Let's not forget that first and foremost.
But first and foremost, these are not real people. They're not
Yeah.
real things, guys.
Hmm.
This is art.
Yeah.
Cosplay is also art. It's up to
Hmm.
interpretation. The person who made that interpreted this story out of their head and
Hmm.
put it on the paper.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I agree. So also on that topic, uh, I know another like really, I don't know if I would say really popular, but another thing that I sometimes hear at conventions are like, and I've talked about it with a few other cosplayers, is how do you get your, because I know you're married, and does your significant other cosplay also?
He does sometimes. He's
Yes.
definitely kind of slid into photography more. He's got a
Hmm.
really good eye for that. So he's taken a lot of my photos and stuff.
Okay, perfect. So how do you either A, bring the person you're in a relationship with into cosplay, or how do you live with someone who does not cosplay? Because I know cosplayers can be a bit much and it kind of consumes your life.
We are artists, and artists are a special type of people.
Yes.
It takes some getting used to, I'm sure. I wouldn't know. I'm a cosplayer, so I have no idea in this game now. I um For him and I, we share common interest:
Mhm,
anime, manga, TV shows,
mhm, mhm,
video games. We share a lot of those common interests. So,
mhm,
kind of segueing into me dressing up into stuff, which was something that he hadn't done before he met me,
mhm,
was kind of just something where I was like, guess what? We're gonna dress up. Okay. I mean, I've been cosplaying since 2008.
Okay.
Uh, so I've always loved to dress up. That was never something that I ever, like, I got into it and I felt weird. I was like, yeah, this is me, dude. Let's build some shit. Having a mate, really, it's really about accepting that person for who they are and what they love. And if you can support them, even if you don't do it, that's huge.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know, love from your loved one for something that you made is makes you feel 10 times better, because we're already beating ourselves up about not being perfect about it to ourselves.
mhm,
And I mean, like perfect to the world, but
mhm.
crafting it yourself. You look at it and you're like, oh, looks like garbage. Let me burn it now. So having a supportive mate in general is, whether they cosplay or not, is really important.
Okay.
And yeah, even if they don't go to the conventions, but if they support your lifestyle,
Hmm.
that's important. You don't have to do it. They don't have to do it. You don't have to pull your mate into this world that they don't want to be into. You just have to accept and love each other and support each other, whatever your hobbies or interests are.
Hmm.
Honestly, if that's how it's supposed to work.
I completely agree. I definitely agree. Um, I just know that from, experiences I've talked to people with, and, especially with photography, I meet a lot of people and you hear a lot of stories. And so it just seems that,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, people are just, coming from all facets of the world, from every state. And it's amazing how everyone can kind of usually have similar stories or relate to similar things.
Yeah.
And just basically everyone wants to be accepted. And it's just like I said, it is difficult to find that in the cosplay world, but it sucks that even more so it's difficult to find that in whatever have you, the same sex, the opposite sex, whoever have you, your mate, your significant other.
Yeah.
So I noticed that like a lot of panels now are doing like this whole even for like parents, like, I have a son that's a cosplayer. I don't
Is
know.
this?
Yeah,
Do we need an intervention? What's
yeah.
what's happening?
There was I forget which convention I was at, and I don't like I said I don't get to go to the panels because I was taking pictures, but there was all these parents in here, and they were like trying to learn like what is it that my kid's doing? Like, do I need to take him to a therapist? Like, what is going on?
No. I think that it's a world that if you've never been in it, it's gonna look real strange from the outside.
Exactly, exactly.
But I mean, a parent going to a panel like that, that's pretty awesome because they actually want to learn what their kid's doing and what their kid's interested in.
Yeah, yeah, because
So
it
that's a
was
form of support right there.
it
You know?
is, and I thought that was really awesome that parents are trying because I'm not a parent, I don't have any kids, and if I didn't know what anime or cosplay was, if my kid just came out of the room dressed up in a whole blue outfit, I'd be like, and like ears like, what the hell is happening here?
What
Like,
is
what are you,
it?
what is
Yeah,
going on? Like, are you
yeah.
possessed? What is happening? So
Exactly. It's really people trying to learn something, just anything in the world,
hmm.
something that you don't know about. Gaining knowledge about it is always the best way to go.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you don't know what cosplay is, look it up. Look up the term. Look up anything. Knowledge is important, and it
Hmm.
also helps you support people if you've never been in this community before. Because the more you know about what their likes are, what their interests are, it kind of makes them feel better. I don't know if a lot of people who cosplay, we were outsiders or kind of just nerdy when we were
Hmm.
younger, or they're
Hmm.
still young and they're still nerdy right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'd say I'm old and nerdy, but whatever.
Oh, do you mind telling us your age?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, you do mind.
I will not. I will let you assume whatever age you think I am. I could
Got
be
it, got
higher.
it.
Let's go with that. I am immortal, so
I am immortal.
I'm 1,000 years old, okay?
Got it, okay.
Yeah, we were kind of nerdy, and this community was something that we were already interested in when we were younger or now, and it's rough. This was something that most people just segued into
Mhm,
because you were already there,
mhm, mhm.
you know, being nerdy and kind of being kind of outside the crowd. I think cosplay made a community for people like
I
us,
agree. I agree. Mhm.
a place where we could just be, and not even weird, because it's not weird. It just is. It's just part of this person, you
Yeah,
know.
just who you are. So we only have a few more minutes left. So there's a few more questions I just remembered I forgot to ask that I did want to ask.
Mhm,
Um, Going back to the cosplay building, how
mhm.
many hours would you say it takes to make that first or whatever that cosplay you make? How long are we talking?
Oh my God.
Or let's
Uh,
let's just
the
get real
morning
crazy.
of,
How many
yeah,
nanoseconds?
just kidding. Uh, if you are good with your time, which most cosplayers are not,
Mm-hmm.
I would say give yourself at least 6 months to work out all your kinks and
Okay.
try it on, make sure it fits, make
Okay.
sure it looks pretty as you want it to,
Mhm.
get everything how you want it. I would say for beginners, like 6 to 4 months just to learn what you need to learn.
Okay.
And that's how long I would say before a convention that you should be working.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. I think that's
I
a
mean, I
realistic
would
time
say that for anybody,
frame.
except for Kinpatsu cosplay, because that girl can do anything in 2 weeks. But
And so
yeah.
now that you're more of a veteran, like, what time frame are you looking at? So people can get an estimate. I started at 6 months. I'm now at X months.
I started my Cordana build 2 months out
Hmm.
for MomoCon.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I started 2 months out. I didn't finish her until that week of MomoCon. I finished her on like Thursday.
Hmm. Hmm.
So procrastination is my friend. I think that for me, I know what I'm doing, so I knew I could push her out and get her done and get her exactly how I wanted her before the convention.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I would prefer to have at least 2 months before conventions to do stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 months down to 2 months. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely I've gotten there. And that's just for one costume
Hmm.
and that's for an armor build. But
Hmm.
if it's cloth or something, I might be able to bump it out a little bit faster.
Okay. Cool, cool. And the very last thing, well, one thing before the very last thing,
Oh,
um,
okay.
what do you think? I mean, I guess it's kind of a big topic, but it's a big question, but we have to shorten it for editing's sake. But how, what is your current thoughts on the POC community in cosplay?
Man, it's rough out here. Short answer.
It is rough out here.
The same thing with bullies and the internet troll bitches. Yeah, people are always gonna say something like you're not canon, your skin color is not proper for this character. They want you to, gosh, I wonder if I should cosplay Storm. Thank you, white person. I'm, I'm so tired of hearing that we should cosplay POC like characters.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
aren't enough black
That's true.
characters in the world right now. So shut up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Secondly, it's there's so many talented black cosplayers.
Hmm.
We deserve a lot of recognition, a lot more recognition that we're getting for people who build stuff. And it's sad and it's discouraging to see young black cosplayers, and I mean young like as in like just starting out,
Hmm. Hmm.
discouraged by the comments that people say to them,
Hmm. Hmm.
the amount of likes, the amount of shares that they get, and just by not being supported at all by the community. And
Hmm. Hmm.
it's really hard. It's really discouraging and it's disgusting.
Hmm.
To be just like absolutely frank. As a
Gotcha.
black cosplayer, I wish that the community would come together more and be more supportive of us.
Hmm.
And that includes us too. Damn, black cosplayers, we have to support each other too, you know?
Hmm. I
And
completely agree.
we're already having a rough at it. I make something that a white cosplayer made, and you might not get as much recognition and have better quality or whatever. It's hard.
Hmm.
It's hard to see that for people and to be kind of in that low likes, low follower count just because the color of your skin,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then people don't consider you canon.
Yep. And it
It's hurtful.
definitely sucks.
Yeah.
So, okay. And the very last thing, who do you look up to in the cosplay community?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. I would say Alice and Tabitha, Zero Suit Sammy,
Hmm.
Fantastic Nami,
Hmm.
Ebony Warrior Studios.
Hmm.
Ooh, Kamui cosplay.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
oh my goodness. Ash. Oh my gosh, there's so many you're putting me on the spot. I wish I had a list. Oh, there's so many cosplayers out there. People I'm not even saying right now. Oh gosh, there's so many builders and so many makers and so many people I've learned so much stuff from.
Hmm. Hmm.
I feel like that was a terrible, short list.
Hey, I mean, you got a good number off there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who have shown me things that I've never known and or shown me love
Hmm.
just randomly, and that even that that little like it has just made so much difference in my mood for cosplaying or making something, because at the end of the day, no matter how much people don't want to say this, we are doing it for ourselves, yes, but we're also doing it for just a little bit of recognition. So
Yep. So true. It is. It's the truth.
yeah, to have somebody pat you on the back and say that you're doing good is just a good feeling,
Mhm.
and that's just
Exactly.
nature anyway.
Hmm. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything for today. I'm definitely going to have you back on the show because I know there's a lot of topics we don't get to cover, but I can't.
Oh,
This is a podcast, not what's the word, a classroom. So I can't just
true.
Yep. So I would like to thank everyone that tuned in for this lesson. I would also like to thank Quirkless Cosplay for joining us today to discuss
Thank
things.
you.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
no problem. And we're definitely gonna have to get you back on the show.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I'll organize my thoughts better so I don't like confuse people.
Don't worry, we're all still learning this. All right. Well, until next time, everyone, stay boundless and see you next time. Bye bye.